Hello, everybody. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk. How are you, Tom?
I am well, Nathan. I hope you are too.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Let's go straight into it then. The WBA have said that the Jarrell Miller Charr fight has been scrapped due to lack of money.
Well, what do you want?
Yeah.
I mean, we
so
have
basically, Manuel Charr has 60 days to get an opponent together. He can choose anybody he wants from the top 15.
Well, that's pretty liberal of them, but
yeah.
I mean, what kind of money were they looking for? Was Jarrell
We're
Miller
not
the
really
one
sure
giving them?
because figures haven't been released. So for me, Jonathan Goodry's ranked at number 15, who's a Don King fighter. The number one, you've got Deontay Wilder. Number two, you've got, I can't remember who's number two, but should I quickly pull them up?
No, it's okay. I mean, he'll probably go for the lesser dangerous opponent because I think Miller would have given him a hard
but number
time.
3 is Anthony Joshua, so I could see. Yeah, I think he'll choose Jonathan
I mean, what
Goodry.
would you?
But most British level fighters would beat Manuel Charr.
Yeah, well, so he's going to go for the low-hanging fruit here. He's going to go for the least amount of resistance.
He'll go for Jonathan Goodry. He'll go for Jonathan Goodry, who is a Don King fight, so that it's an in-house fight, and then it'll be easy to make. But the problem is, there's no. I mean, Anthony Joshua. There's a second part to this. Anthony Joshua could go this route. I think if Manuel Charr was offered enough money to fight Joshua, he'd take that fight straight away, and he'd be foolish not to.
I think so too. That'll be a problem.
He needs to cash out on this fight because he's never going to get a payday like that again.
No, but I don't think Anthony Joshua would even bother with this.
No, why would he bother?
Yeah, it's Dubois, everything to lose and nothing to gain, right?
Daniel Dubois is an option. He's a guy that probably would take the fight just so he can get his belt back.
Well, I think Daniel Dubois could beat him. I think Charr is a better boxer, though. What do you think?
I don't buy that.
You don't think so?
Yeah, he's probably a better boxer, but he's not. He wouldn't beat Joshua. I mean, he wouldn't beat Dubois. No. Joshua would knock him out in 2 or 3 rounds.
Joshua could knock him out in 1 round.
Yeah. In other news, sad news, Showtime is leaving boxing program after 37 years in the sport.
Yeah, I know all about that, and I don't blame them. They're losing. Paramount is buying them over, and they don't want to do boxing. It takes a lot of promotion. It takes a lot of money, and sometimes people cancel, and fighters pull out. But I think this whole thing with the YouTubers and the amount of money people want to fight at the top, it's just out of control.
Yeah.
And they have competition. They're going to have more competition. The Zone is competing. PBC is looking for another place to land.
Yeah.
And there's all these other boxing promotions putting up their own stuff on social media and not even on primetime TV, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like throwing away. I think the quality of boxing has been lowered to some degree. That's my opinion. And it's not cost effective for some of these people to stay in the business, like HBO and now Showtime. Do you agree?
I agree. Yeah. Not viable anymore, is it?
Not to the degree it once was. And when we used to have primetime television here in the United States, they would show fights for free, and they were good fights. They were very good fights. And then HBO came in, and they were putting up great fights, and the money went up, and pay-per-view went up, and now it's just gotten so ridiculous that they're going to Dubai, to get the money that they want to put these mega fights on. And it's become very complicated. And how much money are they willing to throw at it? I mean, the DAZN lost money, right?
TV is a dying thing. TV is a dying brand, isn't it? TV is a dinosaur now. When all the apps and stuff like that.
Well, you have to watch them on a TV, right, or a computer. You have to watch
But
them
yeah,
in
you know what I'm
subtitles.
saying. But TV or cable is known as a dying thing, even in the UK and
Yeah,
in America.
yeah, people are streaming more now. But I think with all these title divisions and all of these fights that, like the last fight with Canelo, I mean, it wasn't a great fight. It was a money grab, and people are tired of that. They go to the UFC to see fights rather than put up with stuff like that. You don't see that in UFC. You know, these
You
guys
don't.
don't stay in the UFC unless they go in there and fight.
But the UFC, there's no money in the UFC compared to boxing. You know,
Yeah,
really, the money's not.
the problem is there would be. I mean, the UFC makes a lot of money. The fighters don't make a lot of money,
They
but the
don't pay the
UFC
fighters
makes a.
anything. They don't pay them anything. It's a joke. One guy got
Yeah, but
$60,000 for three fights in a year, and I thought,
who's that? Conor McGregor?
No, some of the fighters 60 grand, 60 grand.
Right,
The
but if
average
they
entry
become
fighter gets like 100
famous,
grand a year.
if they become famous, then they get all
Yeah.
kinds of endorsement deals.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
MMA is such a tough sport. You know, boxing, you can manufacture your way to any world title in any division. Really, can't you? For a vacant belt.
yeah, you could sidestep people. You know,
Everyone
there are weak champions. You know. I mean, in the UFC, you're a champion. You're strong. You got to be really good to become a
Yeah,
champion.
but nobody stays on top for more than 3 or 4 defenses in the UFC because it's that competitive, you know.
Well, Khabib retired undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, Sonny Anderson made 16 defenses, but I think the level of competition is better now than it was 7 years ago. It's going up all the time. The level in MMA is getting better all the time.
Yes, but the thing is, people want to, when they put their money down, they want to see action. They want to see drama. It's theater, you know, it's entertainment for them. For us, we can watch 2 great boxers and it could go the distance and you could appreciate the boxing if you know something about boxing. But the casual fan.
What was Showtime's one of their first? Did they ever do any Muhammad Ali fights? They wouldn't have done, would they? No.
I don't know if they did the last one. I think Showtime, you know, Don King had Showtime for a while, and he had like the junior middleweight champion. What's his name? He had a couple of great fighters during that period, and they made good fights. You know, interesting fights. But you know, Julian Jackson was.
Oh,
great.
he was
a
very good middleweight.
And you had your English fighters on Showtime.
Yeah.
Conor Benn, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Nigel Benn, rather.
Yeah.
Nigel Benn and the other middleweight champion that they fought each other.
Yeah.
What's his name? What was the other guy whose son is fighting now as well? Eubank. You had Eubank Sr. fighting. So they had great fights. You know, they had Gerald McClellan. They had a lot of great people on there.
Yeah.
But, you know, HBO said we're done. You know, the sport's getting ridiculous. The money's getting ridiculous and complicated. So they can't compete with money coming out of Dubai and promoting overseas.
That's the point. Nobody can.
You know, Vegas is not the mega of boxing it once was. New York used to be.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is, my man.
Yeah.
So what do you want to move on to?
Give me a second to move up.
Because I can't read the list while I'm setting up.
So I'm getting it now.
Yeah.
Number 3. Where is it? Come on. Sources have said that Floyd Mayweather versus Mikey Garcia is an option.
Well,
and Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia on December 9th.
Well, that's a real fight, and they fought before.
It's an exhibition. It's going to be an exhibition.
No. Floyd's is an exhibition. Garcia and Thurman is a real fight.
Yeah, but
that's a real
Floyd
fight.
Mayweather versus Garcia, I just think, you know, fair play to Mayweather. He's monopolized boxing in his own little universe, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, fair play for sure. For sure.
Fair play to him. But the Danny Garcia Garcia against Thurman is a good fight. I'd pick Danny Garcia to win it this time. I don't think Thurman's the same fighter he was 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, when I saw him, he was very overweight. When I saw him coming back from Tampa, and he hasn't been active. Garcia hasn't been active, but he looked good in this last fight.
I think Thurman, that loss hurt his career, it hurt him, and it destroyed him almost. When he came back,
and he fought Pacquiao.
Yeah, and then he had a couple of other fights. I think he came back and had 1 or 2 fights in the last 3 years.
I think it was the injuries that hurt him. He was out for almost 2 years.
You know what? He should probably think about retirement. To be honest, I don't think his heart's in it anymore.
Well, plus he's become a family man. He has a newborn baby and another child. He looked tired when I saw him. He looked like a tired dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looked like a tired dad to me. Not to say that he wasn't an excellent fighter. He was.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, he never fought. He never fought Spence, right?
No, he didn't. He fought Brony, he fought Porter, fought Garcia, and that's about it.
Yeah, so he's fought some top guys, but
he was champion for 5 years, But the next thing is they're saying Keith Thurman versus Stanios for the WBA regular belt.
Well,
that's also rumored. And Danny Garcia versus Erislandy Lara at middleweight, supposedly. Which, Garcia is he a 3-weight champion or something, or 2-weight champion?
Garcia is an excellent boxer puncher. He is. He's had some mental issues, He spoke about it openly after his last fight, suffering from anxiety. And
I don't think he's seen the last of the guy, so I do believe he'll win another title of some description. He's not going to be in the top guys and win the title, But 154, he's a strong fighter, at 154.
Well, yeah, I think he's stronger, but both of these guys, Bud called them out, and they both ducked them. So they're not stupid. They want to.
Lara, for me, Lara is getting past it now. I don't think he's the fighter he was.
Well, yeah, as you get older, no fighter is the fighter he was. Canelo's, fighting differently. I saw an adjustment in his style.
Spencer's here. Hello, Spencer.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, just when I was about to click the invite, my daughter called, so I had to take her call. So.
Yes, you do.
We're going to quickly go over what some of the stuff we've done. I want your opinion on the Emmanuel Charr fight being scrapped.
Well, it kind of makes sense if Emmanuel Charr is about to fight AJ for the belt.
Yeah, which is the second part. Do you think AJ will go for this option? I mean, we've already covered it, but just want to hear your opinion.
I mean, I think AJ believes he could beat somebody like Charr.
Oh, yeah. I would agree with that. Right, and the next thing I want to ask you is about Showtime is going out of business.
Yeah, man. Showtime is going out of business. I mean, listen, it's the evolution of the way TV and the media is going nowadays. Mm-hmm. How you get your content. It's not feasible for some of these big wigs to shell out a lot of money just for minimal people to watch live when they could just do something and have it streamed, and they'll get the same amount of people watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Well, Paramount didn't want to have boxing on their network.
What?
Well, they didn't want to have sports, really. It was Showtime that they took off sports because they took off the MMA stuff too. So the Bellator stuff, so is going away, and all of that other. I think that
Bellator's minor, isn't it? Bellator's a very minor MMA promotion,
I mean, it's been around for a minute. It's you can say it's the JV type of
right. It's
thing,
the springboard to the UFC, right?
Yeah.
right,
I want to ask you-
or past guys, or guys that's past their best days in the UFC might go back to Bellator or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've been getting contracts and they've been being aired on major platforms. So over here in the States, so
terms, it's like where the WWF wrestlers back in the day, like Hulk Hogan, would go to WCW for retirement check, basically. Yeah, the same sort of thing. Right.
Yeah, like that.
Move on to the next thing that I want to hear your opinion. Floyd Mayweather against Mikey Garcia in an exhibition. What do you think of this?
I mean, this would be one of the better exhibitions that he had fought if it did pan out. If it is to happen, it'll be one of the better exhibitions. It wouldn't be somebody that's not a boxer, that isn't familiar with the ring. Mikey hasn't fought in years, so he's smaller than Floyd. So Floyd got the height and weight advantage. Size advantage over him. But
you're not going to see Floyd dancing around and laughing and fooling around.
No.
Because he knows Garcia can punch, and he knows Garcia has excellent fundamentals. So
right, and yeah, I got you. He definitely knows that. He can't toy with him.
No.
But it's going to be an exhibition, so I don't know, what does that mean? Like, they're going to have headgear on? Is it going to be like the glorified sparring match, and that's what we're going to see?
Yeah.
So,
I would like your opinion on Danny Garcia against Thurman, which is rumoured, obviously, a rematch, but this time at 154.
Yeah, Thurman was also rumored to be fighting Stanionis, so I don't know what's going on. But this one, they saying, and this, I think they was talking about it being at 154 though. So that'd be nice. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And what do you think about Garcia potentially fighting Lara for the middleweight belt?
That'll be. I would like to see him. There's no big size difference, dimension wise, between Laura and Danny and Laura's old. Laura's older, so his swiftness might not be as swift. He's probably still much better boxer than Swift is, but without the without the puns all there.
In other news, Lee Wood has vacated the WBA featherweight belt and is now going up to super featherweight to fight probably Joey Cordina or someone like that. The IBF.
Well, Spencer called that last time. Remember, Spencer?
He did, yeah. Spencer, what do you think of Lee Wood going up from featherweight?
Listen, if he can do that, and they might as well do it while he is the champion. He might as well move up and say, you know what, I'm going up. I done beat the people that y'all thought I couldn't beat in Conlon, in Laura, in Warrington, so whatever. Let me move up and go on to greener pastures before the sun sets on my career.
4.5 years ago, he was barely winning British titles. He was losing to people like Jazzy Dickens. How his career's turned around, how he's gone on at the age of 35 to become like a world-class fighter is pretty amazing, isn't it? So late in his career.
Yeah, man. He's a good example of good hard work. Sometimes is all you need to do.
Look, he was
focus and hard work.
He's an unlikely world champion. He always was. And that's what made him so special, the way he came up, he beat those world-class fighters. Or Warrington is a former world-class fighter. They're all good winners. Like that win against Lara was impressive, He's taken some beatings, hasn't he? My worry is at super featherweight, is he going to be big enough? Is he going to be able to land the punches? Is he going to be able to, I don't think he's going to have the same success at super featherweight.
Well, I think he has no choice. He's outgrowing it, he's getting older.
I was going to say maybe he can't keep coming down, and if that's the case, if he's shrinking himself down to featherweight, maybe being up there super featherweight gives him a little, he don't have to
You don't have to
like
drop weight, cut weight.
so much and lose a little bit of his pop. So
I
he
do think,
he might be stronger up there.
yeah, I do feel that he'll get, if he gets a world title shot, it'll be an easy world title. He'll win it, make one or two defenders fight one of the elite fighters, make a lot of money, and then walk away. I'd say he's got a minimum 2-3 fights left to do something. Yeah?
I would agree. I agree.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
But I think you summed it up about the weight last time and the way he looked in his last fight. He looked sluggish.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
he looked sluggish.
Okay, let's move on. Jack Catterall is fighting George Linar.
Why are you laughing?
George Linares, isn't he past his sell by then? Linares, a little bit.
No, he's tough. He's tough. He's a kind of a stepping stone at this point, but he is a tough guy.
He's old now, isn't he? You know, he's not what he was. He's what I'm saying is 5-6 years ago, when he was beating people like the Campbell, he was an elite fighter. Now he's not. You know, I'd say he's barely world class. Catterall would make like working with him, personally.
Well, depends on his motivation and who shows up. How he shows
When's
up.
the last time Catterall fought?
About 5 months
Not
ago.
too long
4
ago.
months ago.
Yeah, this is crazy.
All right. In next, Eddie Hearn said it certainly won't be by January. Eddie Hearn talks about the status of a proposed fight between Joshua and Wilder. It will never happen.
Joshua and Wilder.
Never gonna happen.
Man. Well, first, yeah, go ahead.
It might. Listen, with Showtime being out of boxing and PBC needing places to land their fighters, Wilder might go somewhere. And if Joshua were to get the Char fight and it's for a title, it might happen.
Yeah, well, they're going to get squeezed now. They were supposed to go to Dubai for that fight, and then supposedly Malik Scott was jerking them off, according to Eddie. They had a contract, but they never received a contract back. So I don't know what the strategy is here for that, but Joshua's got to fight sometime soon. But it may work out good for Joshua because he can get the winner of Usyk Fury.
He should just go fight Manuel Jar. He should just fight Manuel Jar and get it over and done with.
Yeah, but there's everything to lose and nothing to gain from that.
Yeah.
You're talking about Wilder? Wilder, sure.
No, he should fight Manuel Jar. You should just fight Manuel Jar.
Somebody
win
should.
a title and retire and then walk away. Then we never have to see him or see him cry again about, oh, I'm not the champion anymore.
Well, you know, the guy that I want to see back in the ring is Wilder, with one of those guys, because I think he could beat most of them.
Yeah. Have you had your say on this, Spencer?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next thing. Tyson Fury says he's going to sign another 10-fight deal. Oh dear.
Well, haven't we figured out that he's a roller coaster? He's manic depressive.
Yeah, we know he's not
bipolar. So he'll say one thing one day and say something the next day. If you ever watch the show on Netflix, you could see it. It's right up. It's right there, right out in the open. You know.
Yeah, whatever's on his mind at that moment, he's gonna say.
That's right. Whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah. I do
it makes sense at that moment to him.
Exactly.
And because he fights twice a year, so what's that? He'll be 45? I don't think Fury will be fighting in 5 years. I think he'll be gone out of the sport.
He may not be fighting for 5 months after this fight. Who knows? You know, he might quit. Who's going to fight? The only
the problem
he gonna fight The Rock and guys like that.
The problem with Fury is he achieved a lot. We're talking about it's 9 years ago that he beat Wilder, isn't it? When he was not Wilder, Klitschko when he was 26. right? So he wasted 4 years, didn't he? By doing
Yes, he did.
He's only got himself to blame for wasting his prime. You know, he would have been champion for years if he'd not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's mentally ill, man. I think Wilder made him a great champion.
He did, yeah.
I think those 3 fights that made them both like legends.
Yeah.
Even though Wilder lost,
fighter, whether we like it or not, he is. You know,
the way he lost, the drama.
Yeah,
you know,
but
because
he nearly beat Fury in the third fight, didn't he? He nearly had him out of there.
No, it was a draw.
Yeah.
It was a draw.
I'm talking about the third fight.
No, in the third fight, he nearly knocked him out. Yeah, he dropped him twice in the fight.
In the first fight and the third fight.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Winning both fights, I'm not being funny. The second fight, it was a different story. He got destroyed, you know. But
yeah, it was the gloves and the suit. Remember? Nah.
Don't forget
I'm
that.
not taking anything to Wilder. Nobody else in the world really beats him apart from Fury, in my opinion, at this current moment. You know, does that make any sense?
Well, it makes sense. But the thing is, we can't trust, just on this subject, we can't trust what comes out of his mouth because he doesn't know what's coming out.
We know he's full of shit. We know he's a fucking idiot. We know Tyson.
No, he may have meant it when he said it.
Yeah, but he's an idiot, though. We know he's an idiot. But as a fighter, he's great. As a person, he's a dickhead. We all know that, you know. But
he seems to be a very nice person. He's just fluctuates.
But he's a nice idiot.
Yeah.
You know, he's our idiot in Britain. He's our idiot. We love him. You know. Right. Number 9. David Benavidez is willing to face Bivol at light heavyweight. I like that. I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be going up there. Yeah, he probably would lose. Bivol is a better boxer than Benavidez is.
You know, he hasn't had the fire that Bivol's walked through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would like to.
Fire.
I would like to see Benavidez actually clean out the rest of the 168 division and get the rest of those
Canelo.
including Canelo. But if Canelo try to sidestep him, get rid of the rest of them guys. Andrade first. He's supposed to be fighting him. Then
But if he can beat Andrade, that's not a given.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. If he could get past him, then maybe face Morrell, those guys, he could go up and then maybe be prepped for the styles. I mean, both of those dudes fight southpaw. I think Andrade fights southpaw.
Yeah.
Both those dudes fight southpaw, and Bivol fights orthodox. So that's a difference. But they're elusive fighters. And Bivol won't be right there for him to be hitting him. So
I think you better be careful what you wish for. You know what I mean?
You know, Bivol, I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of him at all. He's boring. He bores me. He beats people, but he doesn't do anything spectacular, does he? You know, he's a skilled fighter. But if you're a casual fan, he's boring to watch. For us, I mean, we understand what he is. He's a very skilled fighter. That's the way he fights. You know.
It wasn't boring when he beat Canelo.
No, but that's because Canelo made the fight.
Pascal
Canelo
came
made
after
him.
You know.
Yeah, Bivol been fighting guys way below his skill level for a lot of what we've seen him fighting against, and
it's not
and it's look right. No, it's not. But that's might be why his fights don't really look like much, because Bivol is just doing what he does, and those guys aren't really doing too much to try to press against that, stop that, to counter that.
True.
So, if he fights somebody like Beterbiev, that's going to be a good one.
Good one. Ooh, I'd love to see it before Beterbiev, has got so many injuries and he's so old he can't do it.
Yeah, he can't do it anymore.
He's probably one of the strongest divisions, isn't it? The light heavyweight division, I'd say at the minute, one of the strongest divisions.
Oh yeah, it's a very dangerous division.
Because you got the guys that's at 168 that's going to be moving up there.
Yeah. But then you go down to middleweight, that it's very weak. Well, we'll come to that shortly. Right,
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
154-pound fighter, what is it? WBO champion Tim Tszyu destroys Mendoza and calls out
I
China.
wouldn't say he destroyed him. It was competitive. He overpowered him, I think.
Yeah.
He didn't. It wasn't easy. He didn't just walk through him, you know.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
That was
think
for the title, right?
Yeah, because
yeah.
Tszyu's the full champion, isn't he? He's the full WBO champion.
Yeah, because they stripped
Charlo. Yeah.
Charlo.
I still think Charlo beats
Charlo.
Tszyu. I still believe that. Yeah.
Me too.
I do too.
Look, Tszyu is a great fighter. The way he's had his career maneuver because of who his dad was has been impressive. You know, the same way like Cesar Chavez Jr. did, but he's a bit better than him. You know.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know, he's an Aussie Russian guy who's very talented, you know.
Yeah, he's not as lazy as Junior though.
Yeah, but he's not elite. He's not an elite fighter by any stretch, you know. Let's not pretend.
He's above average.
Yeah.
I would agree. Above average is a good way to put it.
In our next article, what is it? Let me see. Burchell stops Diego Ruiz after 2 rounds in Mexico.
He's back.
I know he looks strong. He looks strong. The guy looked a lot bigger than him too.
Yeah, so we'll see. He gives 1 or 2 more of these guys that he could beat up on and stop real quick. And the calling to be for him to fight. What is he at? 135?
130, I think it was. He lost at one. What weight was he at last when he lost the title? It was 130, wasn't it? I think it was 130. Anyway, he looked good.
Valdez beat him at 130.
Yeah, knocked him out, I think. Yeah.
Right, because Heron was the one. Yeah, because he beat. Right, because Shakur beat Valdez.
I don't know what the weight was for this fight, but they looked big. The guys looked big. It could have been 135.
In other news, the KSI Fury fight, which was a hugfest, which is the crappiest fight I've ever seen. There was a wrong mistake on the adding up. The other scorecard said 57-57, but it was actually 57-56 in Fury's favor. But this fight is just, this is ruining boxing for me. This is making it a joke. This kind of crappy fights, you know. I hate it.
I didn't enjoy it either. It was, you know, KSI was very herky-jerky and hard to hit, but Fury was outclassing him. Although KSI did land a few shots, he was just bouncing up and down and running around, and it was like a comedy trying to catch up to this guy. Did you see it, Spencer?
Nah, I didn't watch it.
I love it. Nah.
No, that's my point. People don't want to watch it because it's shit. You know, fuck YouTube boxing. Sorry. But, right, let's move on to the main event. Janibek stops Vincenzo Gualtieri to unify the IBF and WBO middleweight titles.
Now that was a beatdown.
Oh yeah,
that was a beatdown.
Yeah, he's he might experience the thing that Triple G was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Triple G was on the rise up through the things, he didn't have 2 belts. He only had the one for most of the rise. But when he was on the rise up, there wasn't really anybody, because Canelo wasn't at middleweight yet when he was on the rise up. It was Sergio. It was Sergio Martinez, and I think Cotto had it.
He's fought better opposition than Triple G did before he won the title. When he first won the title, you know, he's fought better opposition in my opinion.
Well, yeah, he's had a stronger. You know, he's had people that have fought GGG still around.
But the other problem is, I mean, this Gualtieri guy is one of the most limited middleweight champions I've seen in 10, 20 years. And I'm not joking, this guy was limited. He was probably barely European level. You know, that's about
the problem. You know, it's not Janibek's fault. You know,
No, you could only beat what's put in front of you. And I do believe he's talented enough to beat Charlo, because obviously Charlo will move up and then whatever, and then, you know, we'll see. I do believe Janibek is the next undisputed champion. What I'm looking at.
Well, we'll see how Jamal does.
I don't know if he's gonna be able to grab all 4 of those belts.
Well,
we'll
it depends. Depends. What about Morrell? He's in the picture too, right? Or is he 168?
Nah, that's not 168. He had 168. Laura's the other. He had 160. Laura is.
I think he could.
He's the WBA. Yeah. He could probably beat Laura, but
he'd beat Laura comfortably. I think he's fresher, he's more talented now that Laura's not in his prime anymore.
Well, so
but it might be a tough one for him.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to discuss was, did you guys hear about the potential fight of Joshua fighting Hrgović for the vacant belt? That's now not going to happen because the IBF have said no. They said Otto Wallin will be fighting Hrgović by the looks of it for the vacant belt, by the way it's looking.
Well, was he the number 1 contender or what?
No, the number 1 contender, obviously. Number 2 is Wallin because he beat Gassiev in the IBF Eliminator like 2 weeks ago.
Right, but who's number 1 in that division?
Hrgović.
Hrgović is the mandatory champion.
So why isn't he fighting him?
That's probably going to happen, but the IBF have ruled Joshua out of it. They don't want him fighting because he's ranked number 3, you see. So.
Oh, I see. Well, let them fight each other, and Joshua. This won't hurt Joshua at all. Joshua can just take the winner of Usyk and Fury, and that's it. Yeah. Wait it out and stay in shape, and then take it. He doesn't need any warm-up fights. AG doesn't need warm-up fights. He needs to just fight.
Yeah.
So, this is about learning and this and that. He just got to get his head on straight.
Yeah, just go out there and fight. And it got to be serious because there ain't nobody want to see no big fight.
The most exciting fighters are Fury, Wilder, and Usyk right now. And you put AJ 4th in that mix. Any one of them fighting, either one of them, is going to make a lot of money. Hrgović is like, I would put in there at 5 because he's dangerous.
Yeah.
And Zhang has proved very dangerous himself in 5 rounds. After 5 rounds, he starts tanking.
Yeah.
So any one of those guys are potentially a potential to beat each other. So
I've
nobody
heard
wants.
rumor for us to finish on. This will make you laugh. This is hilarious. This one. Apparently, Razor Ruddock will be fighting James Toney.
Oh no! I heard about that. I would pick James Toney.
Yo, James Toney went out and said, who did he say that he could beat right now?
I don't know.
He said somebody. I can't. I want to say it was.
It's called the Rumble in the Sun.
I want to say he was saying he could beat somebody like Usyk or maybe it was Canelo.
I don't know.
I believe James Toney.
For Canelo.
James Toney is. When I hear him speak, I feel so sorry for the guy. He can barely talk. He was a great fighter in his prime. It's sad to see. Obviously, he's got a lot of brain damage when he talks, which we know anyway.
Yeah, he punch drunk.
With James Toney, the problem was obviously he started at middleweight. Then he ate his way to heavyweight, didn't he? I've never seen that happen before.
Well, that fight with Vasily Jirov was amazing. You remember that fight, Nathan?
Yeah. But I tell you what, if he'd stayed disciplined, how great could he have been if he'd lived the life like he was supposed to? Seriously, he could have been one of the
he
greats.
was great without living the life too. So
yeah, but when you're losing to people like some of the Tor Hamer and people like that, then you got to ask yourself questions. Like the last 8 years of his career, he was fighting 3 times a year, but he was fighting guys ranked 300, 400 in the world. Razor Ruddock actually made a comeback about 5 years ago. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
title
Why
5
did
years
he
ago, lost.
stop?
But no, but the thing is, he's in good shape. Razor Ruddock, I've seen a picture of him. He's in good shape. The guy. He always looks after himself. I believe. I mean, the fact that he came back and at 51 years old and was beating people, Canadian level, British title level, he could beat people like Dave Allen. But
Well, at least Larry Holmes is smart enough not to come back. He doesn't need.
Well, he couldn't turn down the $5 million against Mike Tyson in 87, could he?
Yeah, well, I wonder if he got all that money from Don King.
Probably not. No.
But he also he fought after that, lost to Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but didn't he fight from back 3 years later? And he fought Larry Holmes and he fought everybody else, and then retired in like 2001 or something. He extended his career by another time.
Well, Holmes came out of the ring after a 2-year retirement to fight Tyson.
And then he came out after a 3-year retirement to fight Holyfield as well. A 2-year retirement, 3 years.
Shelley Finkel. He came out to fight Shelley Finkel.
Yeah. The funny thing is, when you look at Larry Holmes, when you look at him...
That was a joke, Nathan.
Yeah, I know it was, yeah. But when he won the title...
Didn't he fight Ray Mercer or somebody?
He did, yeah.
I don't remember.
In 1991, when he was 42 years old and smashed it to pieces.
Yeah, he came back and beat Ray Mercer and whatever. So,
but you've got to look at it. If a guy who was 42 years old in 39 years old in 1992 takes the undisputed champion all the way, that tells you how good Ali's era was, doesn't it? Really, for me,
That's how good who was?
Ali's era.
Ali's era.
Oh,
how good
Ali's era. Okay, I misunderstood.
Ali had he had guys that he was fighting during the 60s, like the Liston guy. And those guys. Yeah. And those guys in the 60s that were tough competition. Yeah. But the 70s, which is what he's mainly, we kind of remember him for, is his Frazier fights, the Foreman fight, his Ken Norton fights, his,
in the
favors,
Yeah. What he did from 62 to 1960, was it 1968?
Ron Lyle.
Was amazing. Yeah. And then he had that the fact that he came back, Tyson Fury's basically done the same thing. He's done it in a new era. He did it in the 70s. 12, 13 years after his debut, 14 years, he's still winning, keeping the world top. That was amazing, the fact that he beat guys like that, in the late 70s.
He is the lineal world champion, let's put it that way.
Yeah. And George Foreman, all these guys, they're a credit to their generation of boxers, to that era.
George Foreman was the hardest hitter out of all of them.
I tell you what, if you put
he came back
George Foreman in now, he'd probably beat most of the guys, apart from the top 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah. Holyfield, everybody who fought him said he was the hardest puncher they ever fought.
And we're talking about a 45-year-old man, 20 years, still had his power. It's crazy.
Go ahead, Spencer.
Yeah. But George Foreman, he was a big guy for then, but he would be not really a big guy as far as height-wise and size-wise for now. I mean, maybe he'd be fat. Yes, I thought he was 6'4", but yeah, 6'5". Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be him being an overpowering figure, is what I'm saying. Like, because you got guys like Fury that's 6'9", Wilder 6'7", Joshua 6'6". What is Usyk? 6'5" himself? 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah,
and he's smart.
But if you put guys in like Sonny Liston from 62, Sonny Liston, and you put George Foreman for 1973, I'm telling you, they beat the shit out of guys like Joe Joyce. Joshua Foreman would have destroyed Joshua. And even Mike Tyson would have.
Yeah. Without question, I think that Foreman would probably. It's different. It's a different time anyway. Those dudes.
These were
George
Olympic
Foreman. They both They both Olympic champions in Joshua and George Foreman. But the amount of fights that George Foreman was fighting, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of, I mean, if you go by the movie, it's kind of similar. He kind of got Gerard up, and He just was knocking people out.
I'm just saying the guys from the 80s era would eat a lot of the heavyweights alive today. Like you put Mike Tyson in from 86. He beats everybody in the top 10, probably apart from Wilder and Usyk and Fury. That's it. You know, he'd be a top 6 fighter. No word.
What about Lennox Lewis? I mean, I don't hear Lennox Lewis being mentioned.
Would dominate today's era. I'm telling you, the only person who would probably beat him would be Tyson Fury. But that's about it.
Nah, Wilder could knock him out. Like Lennox Lewis could get knocked out. So we've seen him get knocked out. So.
But he can also knock you out.
No, he can, but he could get knocked out. So, and guys that could catch up with him, like maybe a Wilder, he could possibly get knocked out by Wilder, and that's Fury that could beat him.
Mike Tyson, Anthony Joshua would only do it to Mike Tyson, and he'd make short work of those. Seriously, he'd absolutely kill them.
I mean, he could
probably beat Dubois with no issues.
Even Prime Ali from 65. I'm telling you, he would have fun with a lot of these guys today. Like Ali against Usyk would have been a great fight, wouldn't it? Ali against that would have been an excellent fight. It would have been close, but it would have been good. That's the sort of fight that would interest me. Yeah.
Well, which Ali? Ali 1 or Ali 2?
Ali 1.
Say Ali 1. Like,
imagine how great
when he was floating like a butterfly, stinging like a.
He actually moved when he wasn't fat and old, is what. Yeah. Right, we better finish up there then, guys. We'll be back next week with the podcast. Thank you for watching Main Event Boxing Talk, people, and thank you for people at Bigo for watching. You can catch us on YouTube.
There you go.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah, bye.